So we'll move to an economist and policy analyst, Kelechi Deca. We're going to be talking about Nigeria's economic transformation, pre-democracy to date. Thank you very much. Now, I'm sure you listened to the president's speech, and one of the high points of the speech is about the economy, and he talked about the fact that the country has recorded GDP growth over 2 quarters, 2020 and Q1 of 2021, as evidence to a successful execution of the ESP by the federal government. Now, how will you rate this government so far in economy?
Yeah, rating the government in the economy, I think the indices for that rating should be the impact those numbers have made on the lives of the ordinary Nigerians. Because if you're achieving high economic growth on paper and the lives of ordinary Nigerians are not positively impacted, then we call it a paper growth. So that's the area I'm focusing on, because you don't just rate an economy in isolation of every other issues around that country. If the economy is growing and you're getting good numbers to show that they are growing, which is factual, but you are also having systems and situations that are negatively impacting on the ability of the people to be able to catch into that economic growth to improve their lives, then something is wrong. So that's why when you look at the economic growth, you look at it from a very holistic point of view. Then you throw in issues of insecurity, you throw in issues of a shrinking civic space, then you also throw in other things that have to do with infrastructural growth, which the government is doing very well infrastructural, especially in the area of roads anyway, and transportation. But you also factor in every other thing. Then from that, you will be able to say whether this economy is achieving the goals. Because the primary goal of economic growth is to positively impact on the lives of the people. So if you're achieving economic growth and the lives of the people are going down, and it becomes a dilemma whereby there is high economic growth, then there's also high inflation that is denying the people from reaping from the fruits of that economic growth, which means that you're having high economic growth and high poverty rate and high unemployment rate.
But so to you, has the economic growth impacted on the lives of the people?
Yes, that's my focus, because I'm looking at, when they ask that kind of question, before we used to ask that kind of question and we try to look for surveys or we try to look for reports that have been carried out to know whether it has impacted on the lives of the people. But today, you don't need to look for surveys or any reports by anybody. You use yourself, I use myself, we have neighbors, we don't live in isolation, we have families, then we ask them, is your life better today than it was, say, 5 years ago? Is your life better today than it was, say, 3 years ago? The answer you get from your own experience, and the answer I get from my own experience, and from the experiences of our neighbors around us, will show that the economic growth is not achieving that trickle-down effect, which is the primary reason for growth. The primary reason for growth is to lift people out of the morass of poverty. If the economy is growing and more people are stepping into poverty, and you're having a wider growth of the gap between the rich and the poor, whereby today we can't say that we effectively have a middle class, then it means that the economic growth is not achieving its primary objective.
All right, before we continue on that, reports just reaching us has it that the police have asked everyone, including journalists, to leave the Gani Fawehinmi Park for reasons we do not have at this point, but we will get more information and let you know. Of course, everyone has been told to leave the Gani Fawehinmi Park, journalists inclusive. Now, Kelechi, in all of this now, the president said the economic sustainability plan is ongoing and the plan is focused on non-oil sector. How far have we done in ensuring that we remove our focus from the oil sector and grow in other sectors of the economy? Kelechi Deca, if you can hear me now, the president talked about the economic sustainability plan, which is aimed at ensuring that...
If you check, even from the year 2000 up to now, from Obasanjo's administration up through to Yar'Adua, up through to President Jonathan. Yeah, I can hear you.
Go on, you can go on.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You can go on.
So what I'm telling you is that if you trace from the time of President Obasanjo to President Yar'Adua to President Jonathan and now to President Buhari, you discover that almost every government has been singing that swan song that will want to focus more on non-oil growth, because if you look at it, it is the non-oil sectors like the manufacturing sector, services and others that have direct impact on the lives of the people, because they are labor intensive, because they mop up a lot of people out of the labor market. But Nigeria has been focusing so much on the oil sector. Now they're opening up the oil and gas sector, which is the gas sector, which is also good. But the issue is that, has the government been able to win itself away from over-dependence on oil revenue? Because when you keep on focusing on revenue from the oil sector, you find out that you end up not helping the other sectors that are supposed to make that impact that you want on the lives of the people. So we've been talking about diversification for over 20 years now. Yes, the economy is fully diversified, because when you look at the indices, when you look at the statistics, you will discover that the oil and gas sector are contributing less than 12% of the GDP. But it is contributing less than 10% of the GDP, but over about 80% of the revenue. So that's where we have a problem. If we are able to focus so much on these other sectors, but you can't focus on them without the infrastructure. You can't focus on them without creating the enabling environment. So those are the things that are militating against whatever effort government is making to ensure that the non-oil sector is making the right impact it's supposed to make on the economy. And coupled with what's happening all over the country, higher insecurity affects productivity. You live in Lagos, you see the way people are warned not to be moving around in the night. There's an economy that is shutting down every 9 hours from 8 in the morning to 6 in the evening. That economy is not going to achieve the level of growth needed to be able to have a multiplier effect and lift more and more people out of poverty and grow wealth.
All right, economist and policy analyst Kelechi Deca, thank you very much for talking to us.
Thank you.